Tell me just a story about what the fishing was like outside Searston.
Well, off the Codroy Valley, say between Cape Ray and Cape Anguille, when I was a young fella, there's nothing unusual to see big fish there. And the last time that I went fishing, myself and Harry Anderson from Port Basque, Harry was after me to go fishing with him this Sunday because I knew where the fish was from being fishing there when I was a young fella. And we went fishing that Sunday afternoon and we caught 2 fish. One of them was 35 pound and the other one was 87. And I got the pictures of it to show it.
I've seen them.
And you will never, you wouldn't now and you never will be able to catch fish that size anymore. They don't get a chance to grow. Once the boats started coming down from up the north coast and some from the east coast and fishing between Cape Ray and Cape Anguille, they destroyed all the cod. What they couldn't use, what they couldn't utilize, what they couldn't sell, they dumped back into the ocean. Thousands of tons. And when I was a young fella, the Portuguese and the Spaniards came every spring and fished off of the Codroy Valley. And they used all hooks. There was no nets in them days. And when they came and when they left to go back, there was the same amount of fish. The fish never decreased because they never, whatever they caught, they kept, you know. And they caught a lot of fish. The war started, they never came back. They went back after I came home, you know, to go away. But they always came there when I was a young fellow, and we'd take out vegetables sometimes and let the boat row out, give them some vegetables, and they'd give us fish in exchange. But they never destroyed anything like the Newfoundlanders did. And it was a shame as well, there was no need of it. And then they tried to bring the Portuguese and the Spaniards, which was all a big joke.
So it was the kind of fishing that was done?
Kind of fishing, yeah. Draggers. They dragged everything on the bottom as well.
Do you think they'll ever get rid of them?
The draggers, they're trying to, but they haven't got the willpower. The governments.
Do you think the oceans would correct themselves if they could get rid of them now?
It would take hundreds of years, maybe thousands. I would like to know actually how old that fish was we caught that day.
Yeah.
87 pound, you know.
I remember it was big. Well, it was almost as long as you were tall.
Yeah. The fishermen were pretty good at destroying their own. I stayed aboard of a boat in Port Basque with a gentleman from Anchor Point. His crew had went home for the night. I went down to keep him company. And he said to me, he said, "Boy, I'm very, very worried, you know." I said, what are you worried about? I said, "You're making a good living and you got a nice boat." He said, "Yes, but we're destroying our livelihood." I said, "What do you mean you're destroying?" He said, "We're destroying everything that's in the water." And I said, "You think so?" He said, "Yeah." Well, I said, well, you got no regulations? Oh, he said, "We got regulations." He said, "The regulations are perfect." He said, "No one worries about regulations. Yet the fishermen don't. Government don't. Union don't. inspectors they don't give a damn. And we can't, one man can't do it all by himself. He said everyone got to be in on this. If we want to save our fishery, to give for our livelihood, everyone got to be in on it. And he said, if I don't, now this was in the 70s, early 70s or the late 60s. He was telling me this, you know. Yeah. But the fishermen knew what they were doing. But you couldn't blame them, you know. There's nothing you could blame them for. They weren't following the regulations that were made by the government or the federal government.
What were they doing instead?
Pardon?
What were they doing instead?
Well, they were just ignoring all the regulations of the way they were supposed to fish and how much fish they were supposed to get. If they were supposed to catch 50 ton, they caught 3 times that. And if they brought them in, if they couldn't sell them, they dumped them overboard and we never got another boatload. You know, there was a... You know, and there was a thing called a gill net, you know, and you could almost walk on the water up the coast, you know, on gill nets. And they'd only take the fish at them when they felt that they needed some, you know. Thousands of fish destroyed.
Mm.